You know, a few years ago, my web design business hit a rough patch. It was like treading through treacle, nothing seemed to make a lot of difference. And I realised that most of the advice out there wasn't really working for my business. So I decided to ignore the heaps of advice that you could find on the web and on YouTube, and to just focus on doing a few things well. And it suddenly worked. And not only did these things make sense 18 months ago, but they still make sense today when you apply them to your business. And so I've put it all together in this video. So if I was to send this video to myself 18 months earlier, this is the video that I would have wanted to have watched, and it's all in one place for you today. So in this video, I will reveal the details and SEO concepts I wish someone had explained to me before. I'll cover what SEO is and how it's a lot simpler than you think. And also I'll discuss what happens once you apply these tips in this video, and some powerful free tools that I used also to save some time. But first, where does all the traffic come from? Well, let's address the biggest misunderstanding I had at the time. And I think this is common to all business owners, as to how do you get traffic from Google in the first place? So if we assume you want to increase your visibility of your business, you probably have a website and you want it to be found in Google, but how does Google actually go about making sure that people find your website? Well, firstly, to just say it's not always Google. Currently, Google is the big search engine, as you can see. It dominates. Things can change. But the reason why you want a search engine is that brings traffic, and traffic can be customers, and obviously that's how it works. Having optimization for your website can potentially bring in new customers. So it's worth bearing in mind there are two types of searches. Whereas before, originally there used to just be one, which you can see here with the old Google, and now Google determines the best way for searching locally as well as nationally. So if a searcher is looking for something that's relevant locally, it will then use a local search. In fact, there are loads of algorithms that Google uses, not just those two, but that's a basic way to view it. But it makes sense to optimize for local traffic if you're a business that requires people to walk into your shop. So for instance, if you're a hair salon or a barber, then that would make sense that it was local people because they need to be physically there. Whereas if you were searching for a watch like a Tag Heuer, then you may want to have it imported, or you may even have it for a courier, and that could be maybe somewhere else in the country. So different intents mean different types of searches. So when it comes to local search, this brings us on to Google Business Profiles. So what are they? Well, it used to be known as Google Places or Google My Business. It's now Google Business Profile, but it's all about putting your business on the map and putting the information there for Google to use, so that when it serves local search information on maps or on search engines, it knows exactly what information to serve about your business. So all you simply do is add your business to Google Maps, you then verify it through perhaps a postcard or a video, and then you then put the information in so that Google can serve that information to potential customers. But it's essential to keep it up to date. The way Google works is that if you keep your business profile up to date, it means you're looking after your customers too. You're keeping them up to date with what your offers are, what your posts are, what your hours are, what your holidays are. Google wants to know that when it sends traffic your way, your Google Business Profile is actually going to serve them information that's useful. But when you put all that information into your profile, where does it all go? Sometimes you might put questions in there, you update hours, you update, say, a category, and it appears that nothing shows for a while, maybe nothing under offers or nothing under products. Well, Google has it all stored away in its database. It's constantly changing the way that the layouts work. So when you look at Google Business Profile on Maps, it will be different on search. It'll be different on a mobile to a desktop. But Google knows what information it wants to serve, and it does trials through different layouts. So don't get too hung up on if something you enter into the profile doesn't get shown straight away. One of the misconceptions is the fact that it's all about reviews. It's not just about reviews. There is over 200 things that Google uses to come about its algorithm for local traffic. But when it comes to Google Business Profile, you'll know that my channel is all about optimizing it for you. So what things should I have considered? Well, not being overwhelmed by Google Business, which I was when I first came across it. And secondly, realizing that just small updates make a big difference to Google. Look for those link cards, like a to-do list. Keep your business holidays up to date and your photos updated. And make sure you follow along my blog and my email, which I release each week as well. And that keeps you up to date with the very latest tips I can find to optimize your Google business profile. So the next area is brand strength. And brand strength is important because when you do your SEO, your search engine optimization, you also improve your branding. And Google knows how authoritative your brand is, and actually it affects your local searches and also your national organic searches. So where you appear is often definitely reflective of what Google thinks of your brand. So big branded companies always do well locally because they've got an established brand. But improving your brand strength is just done through ongoing SEO, and also it can often come about over time. Time comes from authority, trust, and it establishes those things, which we'll come on to in a moment. But you can enhance your brand authority by backlinks as well, which is another area that I should have understood the importance of backlinks. Getting citations, getting indexes, getting other businesses to link through to you that are local improves your standing in the algorithm as well. And there's some great tools that I cover a bit later on in this video that are going to help you to build that authority through backlink building and citations. But it really comes back to a few years ago, it used to be about link juice. There used to even be a page rank for your authority of your domain and your business website. And those kind of, when they linked through, they would pass that information on. Well, that kind of doesn't quite work the same way now because it was misused through various link farms. But the principles still apply that if you get an authoritative backlink, that will help you improve your ranking. Now, before I reveal the quickest way to improve your ranking and get you to #1 this afternoon even, before I reveal that, do make sure you subscribe down below if this is useful. So before that tip, it's important to understand though a bit more about SEO first. So SEO, we mentioned it earlier, search engine optimization. But actually, you know what? There are 3 types of SEOs that you need to be aware of. And they're known as various hats. And you may have heard people talk about black hat SEO, grey hat SEO, white hat SEO. So what are they referring to? Well, in all cases, they're talking about whether or not you're trying to abide by the rules or you're trying to go outside of those rules. With black hat, it's often very spammy. It often gets reported. It will give you perhaps a quick boost, but it doesn't give you long-term benefits. With grey hat, well, you're finding loopholes, but again, often it doesn't work out for long-term benefit. And with white hat, well, it's sustainable, it's following the Google policies, and it's certainly the one that's going to get you established for the longest and the one that I recommend you to do. Now, earlier I mentioned EAT, or I mentioned actually expertise, authority, and trust. And in fact, this is something that Google uses as well. It looks at your business, it gets manual people, real people from Google to check your brand authority, to check your trustworthy, to see how you interact with various things that Google puts out there. And then based on that and based on feedback and based on what it sees, it gives a kind of a manual tweak to the rankings as well. And this is one of the ways in which Google works out who's doing black hat, grey hat, and who's doing white hat. And added to expertise recently was experience, as well as then the authority and trust. So you may hear people talk about EEAT. So if you play by Google's rules long term, you can get to #1, but can you get there straight away this afternoon? Well, yes, you can. And Google often suggests that you maybe take out Google Ads. And if you take out Google Ads, you can pay to go to #1. So you can get the Google guarantee on Google business profiles. You can advertise for certain keywords and get shown and come up #1. And the reason why ads do serve a place is that if you want to get your business exposed quickly, and if it's a really good business, then that can kickstart it so it gets seen. And once it's seen, it then gets the right signals from the customers. And Google then recognizes that and starts to rank you higher. And so in time, you can then take back your Google Ads, your budget from Google Ads, and you're already ranking high because Google knows that you've been given all the right signals. So I would suggest that use Google Ads if you need to inject a boost into your business. But if you've got time, then build your Google business profile the right way. Build your brand strength, get those backlinks in over time, build up your profile, and then you'll find you're ranking high without paying for the ads. And so that comes on to my money-saving formula, really, of how Google Business covers your marketing, it covers your SEO, and it covers the ads itself. I would suggest you really get to grips then with this formula, and then you'll see your marketing paying off dividends. But there's another way to save time, and I'll come on to that in a moment with some automatic tools that you can use to do even more for your business. Mobile and speed is another area that I should have been aware of. Design a website for it mobile first and then desktop. Well, that's a change. Growing up as a web designer, we always designed it on a desktop first, and then we see whether we could make it work on a mobile. Now it's the other way around. So everything's mobile first, desktop second. And it's the same with speed as well. People don't want to hang around waiting for something to load, so get the speed of your website working too. But what about those tools that I mentioned that you can use as well? Well, this video actually has taken longer than I expected, so I'm going to produce a second video that will be here now, and that will show you the tools that I use to automate these processes so that I save time and money, and I can get on with the other things that are more important to my business. So I'll see you on that next video.